Hey folks, Jonathan here. Alright, hadn't done a video in quite a while. I am going to try to get this one posted. So I started out with a part 1 video of this Franklin putting the engine back together. And I actually filmed a few other parts, but I put them on my cell phone, or I filmed it with my cell phone, because this picture, or this camera here, is not doing the best when it comes to videos, so it's not real crisp and clear. But anyway, my point is I cannot get them off the phone. I'm going to figure it out or get my son to help me out. We're going to get it off the phone, but so there'll be some more updates on this, but it is together and running. The engine is together. I've got some headlights in it. Getting ready. Let me see. I've done the windshield, because you may remember it didn't have a windshield. We got some rust on that hood there. But anyway, we're going to replace that panel. Still don't have the gas tank on. I got this little cheater tank, but the engine is together, running pretty darn good. Drove it around quite a bit. Had to put a tube in the tire. But anyway, we will have more on this one later. It's looking good, running pretty good, and still got a little bit to do. But like I said, fuel tank. This thing's got an electric fuel pump on it. Someone's put on it, and we'll probably go back with the old vacuum tank. I kind of like them things. They're actually work pretty good as long as you know they're in good condition. But anyway, that's where we stand on this car. Gotten quite a bit of other stuff done. I want to show you the roof over the Erie City Ironworks engine. Okay, here's the Erie City, and here is Graydon's whistle I took down. I took it down just to put this roof up, and have not got it back up yet. So anyway, finally got a roof over top of this thing. Got a few little nail holes from this used tin I got to fix. Nothing major, but unfortunately this thing was holding water, and it's still got water in it where I done the machinery right inside of it. So but anyway, that'll keep the water out, and I would done that during the heat of the summer here, 104 degrees, so that was kind of rough. But the main thing I have been working on is well, a couple things. I'll show you one thing. All right, 39 Chevrolet. I got it tucked in here in the dry, stripped down to the metal. And if you see what looks like surface rust, it's not. It's actually dust on it from the roof when we sanded it. So it's just about down to steel. And we're going to go ahead and put some primer on this thing and get just some probably flat black or something on it. The paint was falling off this thing. It was in the chicken houses. Oh, I did put new windows in it too. I don't know if you noticed, but you couldn't even see through them. But all new windows except for the back glass. Put a different set of seats in it to make it drivable. And anybody that watches Will Fix-It's videos, you've probably seen it at the Cruise In. I drove it to the Cruise In, but that was before we stripped the paint. So anyway, hopefully have it painted here shortly. But the big project I've been working on is right here. All right, folks. Here it is. So this is the big Weatherill engine that I'd picked up. 14-foot flywheel, about 12,000 pounds is what flywheel weighs, and it's big. And brick's done. Of course, the brick looks old because I wanted it to look like it was 100 years old. Come out fine. Let me see. Just about done. I've got some more adjusting to do on the timing. You can see my bag I've got tied on the spoke, and that was because for timing. That's what I was working on. And I know that when this spoke is flat, that it's at full forward on the valve gear, and when it's at the back, it's full back on the valve gear. So it makes it pretty easy. So got to hook up the, let me see, we're adjusting the timing still, and we've got to hook up the dash pots and hook up the steam line and the hydrostatic lubricator. Everything else is pretty much done, except I do have to do machinery grout under this end of it. Machinery grout's done under the other end, and got to put the cylinder head back on. So what needs to be done is, you know, a day's work maybe, compared to 6 months work. That's how long it's been. I've been working on this thing from the start to finish. And I don't have the other roof panels yet. I've got to go buy some steel and go ahead and just bend them up because I can't seem to find what I need. That's some 4-inch tall grooves in that stuff, and it's made for, I think, pouring concrete on a bridge foundation, so, or on a bridge. So anyway, here's where we're at. Cranks, well, of course the crank's in, but the rod's on. Crosshead, still got some adjusting to do, and it's getting there. It's really close. And this will be, of course, the biggest engine. And this one was built in 1887, and it's probably the most complete engine I've got. I had to make some parts, and had to make this bearing. The upper bearing was completely missing, and let me see, I had to make all of that. The packing gland was all missing, so finished it up. And let me see the brakes. That was kind of funny. I had a friend of mine here, and he was with his dad, and you know, his dad pretty elderly, older than me, much older than me. And anyway, we were talking about, you know, the engine and setting it up, and I told him that, you know, these bricks, none of them are the same size. They're you know, really crazy how different these bricks are. I bought them all in one place, and I knew where they came from. They came from Broadway High School that burnt down in 1963. And he happened to be here, and I was telling him about it, and his son looked at me, and then he looked at his dad, and his dad looked at his son, and they just kind of funny, and then his son started laughing. And I said, what? And he said, because I told, you know, just told him that they come from a Broadway High School. It was burnt down in 63, and he said, I was in the school. I said, what do you mean? He said, I was in the school when it burnt. He said he started throwing stuff out the windows, desks and stuff, and his teacher told him to try to save what they could, so they threw a bunch of stuff out. But he said the fire department wanted to cut a hole in the library floor and put the fire out, which was in the boiler in the basement, and the principal wouldn't let them. And instead of doing that and cutting the hole in the floor, the school ended up burning down. But he said that, and I was trying to figure out why all these bricks was so different. You know, I knew that they had a pattern on them. I looked at a picture of the school, and you could see a pattern where they changed colors on the bricks. But these bricks were a lot of different sizes. And when I said something about it, he said, oh, I know why. He said, because that was, you know, they built part of the school, and then they built more of the school, and they kept adding on, you know, through the 20s and the early 1900s, and then ended up just using different bricks from different manufacturers. So I ended up with just a bunch of bricks that came from there, 16 pallets actually. And but it worked out really well, and I'll do a video on this thing running when we fire it. And of course, this is the building that I built that is the what's left of the Carthage water tower. And if you wonder what the Carthage water tower looked like, you can look it up on Google, Carthage, North Carolina water tower. And you know, there was quite a bit of information about it, because it was sort of something they didn't want to tear down, but they ended up having to tear down. But it had a carriage painted on the side of it because they built carriages there. So trying to keep everything to have a story and a purpose, you know, the brick and the building. And of course the engine. This is Dave's engine. This came from Millville, Pennsylvania. Was bought over 20 years ago and moved down here to Gastonia, North Carolina, and where it sat and was waiting on assembly and never got assembled. And then Dave passed away, and his son sold me the engine, and I was able to bring it here, me and my son, and we just about have it together. So this has been, you know, a 6-month project, and I've done basically everything myself. And you know, I think my wife said she laid one brick. I done the rest. The one that looks good is the one she done. The rest is mine, because I'm not a brick mason. I've had a couple of people, you know, come by that subscribers that, you know, helped out a day or two, and then you know, a couple of them, and then everything else is pretty much just, you know, myself doing it, and as I have time. And but I've got more going on. I just wish I had more time to video, and like I said, this camera is not really worth a crap. I'm trying to update things, and I'm just getting too old to update, too old to care about updating. How about that? So I think I'll just keep doing a few videos and doing with this camera, and they won't look as good as they could look. I think when I do my editing, it cuts it back anyway, you know, the quality. So no matter what the camera does, my software is kind of screwed up, and it's going to be until I get new software. And I don't see that happening anytime soon, because the unless it, you know, something happens and it goes out, I can't get it. I can't replace what I have, unfortunately, because it's Windows Movie Maker. They don't support it anymore. So, but anyway, that's where I've been doing. I've been, of course, towing and picking up wrecks, just like always, and plenty of that. But I will absolutely try to get some more videos on, and didn't mean to take so long getting this one on. But appreciate everybody watching, and until next time, bye.